Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemer of Wrestleview.com. This is the SmackDown Post Show number 21. We've been away. It's been a short hiatus, a couple of weeks, but we're back. I have to apologize in advance because there's some noise in the background. I'm not alone tonight. There are a couple people here, so just in case. But I see a couple of people in the chat already. I see Gills fan. I see Brian. I see Sex Machine in here as well. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It was an eventful SmackDown. We got the fans back. SummerSlam is just, I guess, 3 weeks away now. August 21st on Saturday. Not going to be on a Sunday. And I see, everyone in the chat's already talking about, well, Sasha Banks and the return of Sasha Banks and all that fun stuff. And we're going to get to it in just a couple of moments. Quentin's in the chat as well. Hello, Quentin. How are you, buddy? Good friend of mine, Metallica, Rock. He's in the chat as well. Mashoon, what's up, buddy? Hope you're well. Hope everyone's well. Like I said, it's been a couple of weeks, but good to be back. Good to have you guys back. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook as well. Scotty's in here as well. Scotty Poindexter, thank you for joining. And like I said, it was an eventful SmackDown, and let's just get to it. So we had John Cena, his opening promo. What can you say, right? John Cena, freaking brilliant. He started off the show now for the past 2-3 weeks. Kicked off Raw the night after Money in the Bank. Kicked off SmackDown last week. Kicked off SmackDown once more. It's Cena, and he cut a promo. He got the fans hyped. And I mentioned this on Twitter when Cena came back and he confronted Roman Reigns. I said we're gonna get some insane promos between John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. It started 2 weeks ago. Last week, this week, wow, just incredible. Solid promos all around from everyone involved. It's just been crazy good stuff. I don't know what you guys thought about it. Let me know what you guys think of the opening promo. I'm taking a look at it here. Let's skim through it really quickly. So obviously Roman Reigns had his comment last week about John Cena where he just said it's the missionary position, right? It's the same thing over and over again. And Cena spoke about that. He said something along the lines of, if you find someone who's good at missionary for 2 decades, you stick with them because they're a good catch. And that got a pop from the crowd. And Gills fan over here, Gills fan writes, Cena is so well liked now that we don't even get the John Cena sucks chance during his entrance. That's true. We don't get the John Cena sucks. No, we don't get that. It's John Cena. It's a pop, and it's a hell of a pop as well. Brian says, started off good, but once Corbin came out, it kind of lost momentum. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to Corbin in a second. So, Cena comes out, and he says, well, I'm John Cena. I'm going to stay the same way I am. It's kind of as if you were asking Stone Cold to change up his personality or asking The Rock to change his personality. It's not going to matter. And then he said something along the lines of, he said, Cena says he would have embarrassed Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And the reason why Roman rejected him is not because of how he looks, but rather because he's afraid of how John Cena will make him look at SummerSlam. So if you guys missed it, it was a pretty good opening promo. Didn't last too long, just a couple of moments. But a very, very good opening promo by John Cena. The Rock, good friend of mine, or Rock, not The Rock, but Rock. Roy always had such a great singing voice. I'm not going to be on Canada's Got Talent or Canada's Got Talent, that's for sure. Quentin, yes, like and subscribe and share this awesome channel. And like it on Facebook, like it on YouTube. I could officially say we are getting some massive you guys are in for a massive surprise in the next 24 to 48 hours over here on Wrestleview.com. So stay tuned. In the next 24 to 48 hours, like I said, you guys are in for a surprise. Let's put it to a vote, Gills fan. Here you go. So Roy versus Heyman, who did it better? Is it my singing voice of John Cena sucks, or was it Paul Heyman last week with his do 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 do. Let me know. Let me know. I'll admit, I'm telling you guys straight up, I absolutely laughed at Paul Heyman's promo last week, or the ending of it. I thought the whole thing was brilliant, very well made. But his ending was just, it's Paul Heyman, right? We spoke about it at length. It's Paul Heyman. It's what he can do. Brian says CM Punk, the rest of we confirmed, even bigger than CM Punk, bigger. I'm not going to get into a CM Punk rant. Not that I don't like him. I like him. But something about him. Anyways, we're not going to get into it because I do have a mini rant. Well, I say mini. I don't know how big it's going to be regarding Sasha Banks in just a couple of minutes. But stay tuned. Wrestleview 24 to 48 hours. You guys will not be disappointed. So, John Cena cuts his promo. Out comes Baron Corbin. Down on his luck. It's the Corbin we've gotten the past couple of weeks. Cena kind of feels sorry for him. Takes some money out of his pocket, gives it to Corbin. Corbin says, "What, is this it?" And then Corbin calls him a Hollywood sellout. Cena didn't like it, gave him an attitude adjustment, and left the ring. So that was your opening promo, or your opening segment, rather, of SmackDown. Honestly, if you missed it, it's worth checking out. Anything with John Cena, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman these days is definitely worth checking out. So if you haven't, if you missed it, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Obviously for copyright reasons, we're not going to play it on this show. But yeah. Mashoon, oh boy. Mashoon, I'm looking forward to Roy's rant on Sasha. Rock, Sasha Banks rant. He's getting the popcorn. Gills fan, it's ridiculous, but I love this version of Corbin. You know what? At the start of it, when they started with this whole Corbin thing, I wasn't sure how they're going to do it. I'm like, where are they going with this? Like, how long are they going to let this go? And now we're about probably a month in, 3 weeks to a month in, and I'm with you, Gills fan. I'm kind of enjoying this, but what's the end game here? What's the goal at the end? Where, the light at the end of the tunnel, where is this going to come from? What are they going to do? Are they going to give him a push? Are they going to send him over to Raw? Are they going to send him to NXT? Are they going to completely repackage him? What are they going to do? So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to the most with Corbin. But so far, I could cautiously say I'm enjoying this. Cautiously say I am enjoying this. So that was the opening segment of SmackDown. Give me a sec. Just going to have some coffee. This is coffee. Give me a second. All right. So, Gills fan says, it's hard to tell. It seemed like Kevin Owens was going to bring him to the light, but no KO this week. Yeah, that's true. We did not get Kevin Owens this week. No Sami Zayn. No Street Profits as well. So, Ford and Montez, not there. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple of other people too. But you know what? I'm not complaining. Nothing against those guys. They're always fun to watch. But I can't say I missed them, to be honest. I thought it was a good SmackDown overall. So, yeah. Rock writes, I feel like they could use Corbin like an 8PA type of role. He's broke and desperate. People hire him for part-time help. I like his new gig so far. I never thought about it that way. Well, that's not true. I semi-thought about it for a split second during the contract signing. I thought maybe it was just Baron Corbin doing Roman's dirty work. But then, anyways, we're going to talk about that when we get to it. But I like this idea. I definitely like this idea. It could be cool. Brian, he'll end up on NXT and win the $1 million belt. Now, that would make for some good booking. That would make for some very good booking. So logically, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately. And Brian says, yep, they hire him and he still gets beat up. So it looks like everyone here is enjoying the Baron Corbin character. And you know what? When he came out, I won't lie, I kind of laughed. I'm like, oh boy, what are they gonna do with this? It was interesting. It wasn't one of those, oh, Corbin's coming out. Oh, what are they gonna do? No, it was really like, oh, Corbin's coming out. What are they gonna do? I'm curious. So that was, anyways, for me, it was a good reaction. So that was our opening promo, our opening segment. And then we had our first match of the night, which was Rey Mysterio, who got the win, versus Jimmy Uso. So And actually, before we get to Ray, because we're still getting some comments here, I always like reading them out. So Mashun writes, Karen Borbin is not bald anymore. I mean, you kind of tell the certain spots, but yeah, he's letting his hair grow, letting his beard grow, has that dirty shirt, the stain on it. So they're no pun intended, they're going for broke with with Corbin here. Scotty writes, it's a cool idea to put Corbin in a mercenary role. It is, and I think we spoke about this when it first happened, but Corbin as a face does not really work. But Corbin as, I'll say, like a failed bodyguard or some sort of odd heel character, I think could work, as long as he's not a baby face, as long as they don't try to turn him as a baby face. Quentin, you still want to slap Corbin in the face though? A bit less so. Before it was just I couldn't tolerate him, but now I'm not gonna say he's won me over, but not as bad. So the first match of the night, Rey gets the win versus Jimmy Uso. It wasn't a bad match. It was good. It was a good singles match. It's what you expect from Rey. He's very, very reliable. I don't know if we're still going to get this main event Jay or right-hand man Jay and what they're going to do with Jimmy and stuff like that, because they've definitely, at least this week, they were not seen alongside Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman tonight. They had their promo, they had their match, and that was it. So we'll see what goes on with them, but I guess for the time being, they're definitely having them feud and continuing the feud versus the Mysterios, which at this point will probably continue on to SummerSlam, and we might get some sort of maybe stipulation match, or they might be on the kickoff show once more. Who knows what they're going to do with that, but it does look like we're getting the continuation of this feud. But that was it. So Rey got the win versus Jimmy Uso. So if you guys missed it, what happened was Rey rolls Jimmy Uso up, Dominic's at ringside, and Dominic kind of pushes Rey Mysterio with his leg, so he uses himself for leverage, and Rey gets the 1, 2, 3. He gets the pin. The Usos are not happy. Obviously, this was a singles match, so they didn't lose the titles or anything, but they were not happy, and that's not the end of it, right? Not going to be the end of it. Gil's fan, this is how you have faces cheat with it making sense, unlike Hardy beating Cross. Okay, I'm not going to go on a rant, and I agree. I'm just not a fan of Cross. Period. Not a fan of him in NXT. Not a fan of him on Raw. Hopefully he goes back to NXT. I just don't like his character. Don't like his moveset. Don't like him on the mic. I'm just not a fan. So having him lose or seeing him lose versus Jeff Hardy, who, if I read correctly, I think tested positive for COVID. So I hope quick recovery for Jeff. But seeing Cross lose, hey, I'm all for it. Plus, I like Jeff Hardy. So, but yes, I do agree in the sense of this is how I won't call it smart booking, but logical, right? If you're going to get the faces to kind of cheat, this is the way to do it. This is definitely the way to do that. And we're getting to it, guys. Boys and girls, we are getting there. And before we get there, let's take a look. Daniel writes, SmackDown made 2 matches in 10 minutes. Roman versus Cena, Balor versus Corbin. Beat that Raw. Yeah. Well, we're going to get to the contract signing. We're going to get to it. Quentin Walters, who is this guy Cross? Well, Karrion Kross, NXT champion, has been on Raw for the past 2 weeks. Lost to Jeff Hardy 2 weeks ago, and then defeated Keith Lee on Monday. Not the best booking. I don't know if he's going to stay on Raw or not, but hey, yeah, we'll see about that. Gil's fan, rumor was Hardy was going to beat him again. That would have been cool. Again, I like Jeff. Not a big fan of Kross, so I would have liked to have seen that. All right. Señores, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Okay, Quentin was joking about Kross. I mean, hey, not everyone watches NXT. So, there were some rumors that there was going to be a surprise on SmackDown. And then there were rumors that it was going to be Sasha Banks. So I used to love reading rumors as a kid or spoilers as a kid, just because I couldn't contain myself. Now, maybe a little bit less so, right? Sometimes I could still figure out who it is. It's like, oh, spoiler, someone's coming back. You kind of get an idea. But tonight, I'm like, you know what? There's a spoiler on SmackDown. Right away, I thought it's either going to be Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks. Because in my head, I'm like, well, logically, the world title scene is set. They genuinely don't care about the tag titles. The Intercontinental title, whatever, that leaves the women's belt. So in my head, I'm like, it's either going to be Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks. It's one of those two. Then I said to myself, look, Becky makes sense, but are we really going to get Becky, who's going to be a big baby face, going to get a big pop, up against Bianca Belair, who's the biggest women's face that they have, who's the champ? Are we really going to get that? I thought, no. What about Sasha Banks? And then I thought, well, Sasha lost at WrestleMania, went away for a couple of months. SummerSlam is right around the corner. It's got to be Sasha. In my head, I'm like, it's got to be Sasha, right? I didn't read the spoilers, didn't read anything. Then I got a message from Mr. Jerome himself, Jerome from Wrestleview.com. Shout out to Jerome. And he tells me, hey, the rumor, spoiler, whatever, is that it's Sasha. In my head, I'm like, look, by the way, side note, when it comes to wrestling, I don't care if I get spoiled. I genuinely don't. If I could avoid it, great. If not, I don't care. So I read Jerome's message and, kind of messaged a little bit. And I'm like, it's going to be Sasha, and they're going to book Sasha versus, Bianca at SummerSlam. So before I get into my rant, let's go through your comments here. Daniel writes, I was dreading the Banks face turn. Thank you, WWE, for saving us. Sasha Banks as a face was god awful. Sasha Banks is awful. Face or not. Face or not. Sasha being heel makes so much sense. Sasha being off television makes even more sense. Gills fan says, agreed, Daniel. Sasha pretending to be nice is painful to watch. And Mashoon writes, Sasha is a heel again. So let's get to the segment. Bianca Belair is in the ring with Kayla. Kayla congratulates her on, having the women's championship for over 100 days. Bianca's like, oh, you're making me blush, blah, 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 this and that. Out comes Carmella, who, challenges Bianca to a match. Out comes Selena Vega, who challenges Bianca to a match. Bianca accepts. Carmella attacks Bianca. Selena attacks Bianca. We get a 2-on-1 against Bianca. You know who's going to come out and save Bianca. Yeah. So out comes Sasha Banks. Good pop from the crowd. Good ovation. It's the first time in front of a crowd since WrestleMania, but logically speaking, in about a year and a half. And so out comes Sasha, saves the day, hugs Bianca, makes no sense. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it because she lost the belt to Bianca at WrestleMania. There was the whole show of respect between the two. But anyone who knows anything about Sasha, which literally all you need to know is 0.1%, which is they're going to play her face. She's going to turn on her tag partner as she's done the past 40 billion times. And then we get this whole character of I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm the greatest of all time. Haha, I can't be trusted. Haha, I one-upped you again. No one gives a shit. Okay? I don't care. Andrew's in here, by the way. So hello, Andrew. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Right on cue, right on time. This is Sasha Banks' rant. And, Sasha shows up, saves the day. And you just knew, right? I tweeted it, and then I was interacting, I believe, with Andrew, and I can't remember who it is. I want to say it was Gil's fan or maybe Brian on Twitter. And everyone predicted, what we're going to get is we're going to get Sasha turning on Bianca. The only question was how soon, right? I predicted a couple of weeks. I said, great, we're gonna have to tolerate this for a couple of weeks until Bianca turns on. Until Sasha turns on Bianca, and then we get Sasha versus Bianca at SummerSlam. So that was pretty much everyone's freaking prediction. Fuck it, I'm cutting to the main event. Cut to the main event. Sasha gets the win. And can she just stop? Can Sasha Banks please stop with Eddie, with the whole Eddie Guerrero tribute thing? Please. It's so cringe. It is very cringe to watch. Her three amigos are not good. Her frog splash, she really looks like one day she's going to land like both knees face first on her opponent. Like she's going to hurt someone. I love Eddie. I don't think anyone hates on Eddie. There's no fan. You can't really hate on him. I love him. This is just cringe. This is cringe on so many levels. It's bad. So Sasha hits the three amigos, almost botches the freaking frog splash, backstabber, whatever, gets the win. Yay. Then you look at the clock and there's 5 minutes left. So 5 minutes left in a wrestling show. The main event's over with. You have two people celebrating. You just knew something's got to give. And it was at that moment where I'm like, oh, WWE is going to freaking spare us the next 2-3 weeks of Sasha Banks being face, and they're going to pull the plug on it right away. So on one hand, I'm like, this is not that bad. No, it's bad. It just could have been worse. The fact that they're turning her heel already. On the other hand, I'm like, shit, Sasha Banks is back. And it was, I'm reading the comments and like it literally, like Andrew right here, Daniel, when Cole said vintage Banks, fuck, no, and absolutely, you just know. Scotty could not have said it better myself. Eddie was great. Sasha and her tributes, no, they're not. She's not. She has to stop. So Gil's fan, if you thought the Thunderstorm reactions were going away, you were wrong. They really turned that up during the Sasha return. I figured, because at one point I'm like, there's no way everyone's cheering for Sasha. Like something doesn't add up here. So this is, anyways, let's go back to this. 5 minutes left in the show. Bianca and Sasha are celebrating. And the thing about Sasha is even her facial reactions look fake. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an actor or this and that, and I don't know, fucking Tom Cruise, whatever it is. But her facial reactions, like I'm not saying I could act, but I know I could act better than Sasha. Okay? And chances are I could probably wrestle better than Sasha, and because I could freaking not botch every little fucking thing I do. So you have Sasha who's like the fakest smiles of like, and she's like pointing at Bianca like, no, this is bad. Stop. End it now. And then, I think everyone predicted it at that point. She hits Bianca with the backstabber, beats her up, gets her in the bank statement. Show ends. Great. So we get the most predictable ending that we could have gotten to SmackDown. To a very good SmackDown, by the way. And my problem with this is that it's not so much the ending that we got. Because despite the fact that it was predictable, storyline-wise, it makes sense. Or it's going to make sense, hopefully. My problem is, 1, Sasha's back. 2, we're going to get Sasha promos. 3, we're going to get Sasha versus Bianca at SummerSlam. 4, I know I said this already. I can't reiterate it enough. Sasha's back. 5, we're just gonna get this annoying Sasha Banks back. It's just like no. Couldn't they have I'm not even gonna say repackaged her. Couldn't they have just shipped her over to Raw? Like, I like Bianca. I do, and this is nothing against Bianca, but I'm not interested in seeing Bianca versus Sasha Banks. I'm interested in seeing Bianca versus Toni Storm, Bianca versus a mop, Bianca versus freaking Tamina. Not Bianca against Sasha Banks. And you just know next week we're gonna get that Sasha Banks promo where she's gonna come out and she's gonna say, "That's my belt. I'm the reason why you're here. I'm the reason why these fans are here. I want my belt back. I outsmarted you. I'm gonna out wrestle you. I'm gonna get my title." But like, you just know what you're gonna get. We've seen it a billion times. They should never, like, if you're gonna bring Sasha back, I would have much preferred skip the whole bullshit we went through tonight and just have her attack, right? Like, just have her attack Bianca right away. Don't have her involved in a match. Don't have her come out. Don't have her come out during the show, I mean. Just have her come out, end of the show. She attacks Bianca. She doesn't touch a microphone. She doesn't get involved in a match. I don't see a horrible, God rest his soul, Eddie Guerrero freaking tribute. We get her coming out, whatever, hits her with a chair, something, anything. And I can't help but think that this is the reason why we're getting Sasha Banks back so soon is because Bayley got injured. I think that's part of the reason. Now, I'm not saying that Bayley versus Bianca would have continued over to SummerSlam, but we probably would have gotten something. So maybe Bayley being out, and the fact that Bayley's out for 9 months means we are stuck. This just dawned on me. Means that we are stuck with Sasha in one way or one form or another, one way or another, I can't even think straight anymore. Now we're stuck with Sasha Banks for the next 9 freaking months. Whether she's champion or not, because you know she's gonna get the belt. Like, Bianca's not gonna hold on to the belt until WrestleMania. Do you know that? I'd like that. I'd like for that to happen. Don't get me wrong, but we know it's not gonna happen. So we know we're gonna get a dreaded Sasha Banks title reign from now until WrestleMania. I just hope we don't get Sasha Banks winning the freaking Women's Royal Rumble. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna leave it short. I'm gonna stop right there with Sasha Banks. Let's go to the comments. You guys said a lot. And I like that. Very, very active in the chat. I love you guys. Really do. So let's take a look here. Thank you, Mashun. Thank you. Daniel, same thing with Natty and Jim on Raw. It's just, it's the constant tributes. But you see, at least Natalya and Jim make sense because father-daughter. Sasha Banks, no. Rock, I gotta go to a meet and greet with Roy to meet Sasha. That's not happening, man. That's not happening. On our, how long have I known you? 20 years? On our 20 or 20 plus year friendship, that's not happening. See those noises, those Sasha Banks chants, it reminds you of the Goldberg chants. But Goldberg at one point was getting those chants in WCW. Yes, it was 23 years ago now, whatever it was. But he was getting those chants. Sasha never got those chants. Never, ever. And yes, she believes her own shit. And there's a difference between being confident, like being good in the ring or being good at what you do and being confident about it, but knowing your limitations. And there's being Sasha Banks. Quentin, every time I see a Sasha match, I yell out toilet break. See, you're lucky. You get to take the toilet break. I have to cover this for you guys and for everyone. I can't do that. Brian, I get why they did it, but I hate how it makes Bianca look like you literally just went through this with her. How do you fall for it again? Thank you. It makes no sense. Bianca, again, maybe it's because she's a face and WWE likes to have their baby faces just be completely oblivious to anything. But like Bianca went through a 2-3 month feud with Sasha Banks, so she should have known something like this was going to happen. Obviously not. Obviously not. Brian, Roy, that's Emmy Award winning acting from Sasha. Absolutely not, and you know it. Oh my god. It was a small rant. It was a small rant. I could have done more. I love you guys too much to keep going with the rant. Gil's fans, because she's a real life heel and she's doing what she thinks a good guy acts like. It's no. Rock, I believe Sasha just caused Roy another 3 weeks without post shows. Happy recovery, Roy. Godspeed. No. By the way, there were no post shows. Personal reasons. I had some stuff going on, but no, absolutely not. Yes, I'm down with this, Quentin. Let's ship Sasha to NXT Antarctica. Yes. Let's see what else you guys got here. Sorry, I'm just skimming through these really, really quickly. Andrew, yeah, her cousin Snoop is back in WWE's good graces. Brian, thank you for ruining that for me. The ding dong. Hello with Bailey. Thank you officially for ruining this for me. Scotty, yes, Bailey's untimely injury played a role. They see Sasha putting butts to seats, even though she's more cringy than a bad Saved by the Bell episode. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a darn minute. As a die-hard Saved by the Bell fan, I take offense to this. And I even have the DVD somewhere here. I'm going to let this one slide, Scotty. I like you. But yes, I could agree that the bad Saved by the Bell episodes were bad. I'll give you that. But still. Let's see. Yeah, so regarding her promos, it's just we have that rumored Queen of the Ring tournament. Why? There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it at all. It's legit coffee, buddy. It's just coffee. Yes, Gills fan. Bianca's confident. Sasha's arrogant. Thank you, Daniel. Don't you dare do that. Scotty was Saved by the Bell. Yes. Sasha is Saved by the Bell the college years. No. Sasha would be like the new class. Saved by the Bell, the new class, I think. But even that, I like Saved by the Bell too much to compare her. I'm a fan of Saved by the Bell also. There you go. Perfect. And if you go through the archives, there's one episode I remember wearing a Zach Morris t-shirt on one of the SmackDown post shows. But anyways, it's not a Saved by the Bell show as good as it is. And I believe they're on Peacock in the United States for the reboot, right? So check it out if you haven't already. I think they're on Peacock in the United States. If you are in the United States. Anyways, let's keep it going. I know I skipped to the main event, so we got through the main event. We don't have to go through it now. After the Sasha Banks return, we got Reginald, who retained the 24/7 title through disqualification. That was not a disqualification. So essentially, Reginald, who I get, they're using him in a smart way, acrobatic and this and that. I have no problem with Reginald. I have some problems with this booking. And so essentially we got Reginald versus Otis and Chad Gable in a 2-on-1 match. Reginald goes for the cover on Chad Gable. 1, 2. Otis breaks it up. Like any other tag team match or handicap match that we've seen ever. Otis breaks it up. The referee calls for the bell for disqualification. How does this make sense? This is a 24/7 championship match. Even if it wasn't a championship match, this is a 2-on-1 match. We've literally seen every single match tag match. Opponent comes in, breaks it up, you're good. Yet for whatever reason, this one ended in disqualification. Go figure. Let's take a look at the comments here. Andrew, so going back to Sasha, we'll do that for a couple of moments. Andrew, heard she's an asshole in public and Bayley is very friendly with the fans. I've heard the same thing about Bayley, that she's very, very friendly. See, Bayley is someone judging through her, going through her I guess, her posts and her interviews. Bayley is a real wrestling fan. Really. Sasha is a fake wrestling fan, and you could tell. For anyone that watched even a minute of her interview in the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin, you could smell the bullshit from a billion miles away. You could smell the bullshit. Daniel, Kelly Kapowski or Topanga Lawrence was my 90s. Kelly Kapowski was my 90s. Kelly Kapowski, Topanga from Boy Meets World, that's cool. Not bad. Kelly was my girl. And also the Pink Ranger. Pink Power Ranger, I'm guilty of it. I am guilty of it. Quentin, yes, Sasha is Saved by the Bell, the botched class. Absolutely. Absolutely. So regarding the Reginald, Andrew, that was another what the fuck moment, definitely. Gills fan, Reginald bringing back the wild card rule. Rock, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining. Have a good one. Sleep well. Andrew, also, isn't that title not supposed to have DQs on it? Yeah, exactly. It made no sense. It makes no sense. Gable lost in his hometown, says Gills fan. Yeah. Supposed to be like the hardcore title. So that's, anyways, didn't make much sense, but it happened. It is what it is. It is what it is. After that, we got, in my opinion, what should have been the actual main event, which was the contract signing. We ended up getting the contract signing. And when Roman Reigns, at the end of last week, when Roman Reigns accepted Finn Balor's challenge for SummerSlam, right? I don't think anyone actually expected the main event of SummerSlam to be Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor and not Roman Reigns versus John Cena. I don't think anyone expected that. My whole question was, okay, how are they going to get Cena in this match? Especially when they announced the contract signing. So I was a little intrigued. I'm like, okay, because if we get a contract signing for SummerSlam, Balor versus Roman, okay, but how are they going to get Cena? Like, I was really, really interested in that. And you get Finn Balor that comes out first, and then you get Roman Reigns that comes out. And Roman Reigns takes his sweet ass time walking down to the ring. Takes a good 2, 3, 4 minutes, walks down to the ring. You have the chairs facing each other. Roman looks at the chair, looks at Heyman. Heyman grabs the chair, puts it at the head of the table. Roman sits down. All is good with the world. And Roman cuts a promo. And Roman cuts another 5-star promo. Another great, great promo by Roman Reigns. I can't say anything. I cannot say anything. He says, I'm just grabbing it here. Where is it? And I know I skimmed through the 6-man tag. We'll get to it in a second. So, Roman kind of goes through Cena's promo from earlier in the night. So Roman sits down. The fans start to chant Cena, John Cena. And Roman says, what? We already saw Mr. Missionary tonight. And I'm very interested in knowing if John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman still have their promos that are scripted. Because lately, at least since the fans have been back, the past 2-3 weeks, especially from those three, I feel like they're not scripted. I feel like they probably have a guideline, like, look, talk about this, maybe say this, and the rest kind of freestyle. And sometimes it feels like that's what we get, especially with the fans back, because you see, especially from those three, you see a lot of fan interaction. You see Roman playing off the crowd, you see Cena playing off the crowd, and Heyman's freaking Paul Heyman. So I'm just interested in knowing what if they have any guidelines or whatever it is with their promos. But anyways, so Roman says, Roman kind of says, well, we already saw Mr. Missionary tonight, and how Cena is kind of undermining Finn Balor and this and that, and Roman says, look, you deserve it. You have hunger, you have this, you have that. You're not like John Cena. You don't have the same shtick for the last couple of years, whatever it is. And then he goes in hard. Roman goes in hard. He tells him, look, you're hungry, you want it, and I dig that. But just know, if you sign that contract, I'm going to smash you and send you back to NXT. And Roman signs it. You're like, shit, this is a very good promo from Roman. Finn Balor, who's not necessarily known for his mic skills, had a good line. He said something along the lines of, I have no problem going back to NXT as Universal Champion. So that was cool. That was cool. They kept it short with him. They knew his limitations. He's about to sign the contract. Corbin attacks him. And then when Corbin attacked him, you're like, oh, okay. This is how they're going to get Cena in the match. Corbin's about to sign the contract. And you're like, wait a minute. So Corbin's down on his luck. He needs money. This could be something that they could actually play with. Cena comes out, attacks Corbin. Cena signs the contract. A lovely little visual with Cena actually writing, big, bold letters, capital letters, CENA, and then signing it. So that was cool. And then we get Paul Heyman backstage with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. And he's like, look, this is not legally binding and this and that. And they say it is. I don't know how. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I know nothing about law. I've watched Suits, and that's about as far as it goes. And I know that's not too accurate either. But, it's not. I'm guessing it's not legally binding. But hey, it's WWE. It's sports entertainment. We'll go with it. So we are getting John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. They announced it. They liked it. The fans liked it. And that was it. So it was a very, very good contract signing. As usual, someone got beat up. In this case, two people. And let's go to the chat. Let's get to it, guys. Okay, wait a minute. I'm just going through this here. Contract signing. Okay, here we go. So Gills fan writes, the ending ruined this segment for me. Cena just stole a title match from a fellow face. Terrible booking. Look, it depends what they do next week with it. And I get what you mean that he technically stole it, but at the same time, Corbin was going to steal it. But I get your point of view for sure. And like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what we get next week. And, well, here we go. So Andrew writes, now it makes me wonder, are we getting a triple threat match with Finn, Roman, and Cena, or even a potential four-way with Corbin? If they could squeeze Corbin into this, kudos to them. I don't think they'll do it. I think moving forward, especially what we got tonight, we're going to get Cena, Roman, and Balor versus Corbin. I think that's what we're going to get. But you can never really tell these days with creative, so who knows? Andrew, Cena did a heel move. Well, technically, yes, it is a heel move, right? Because he stole it from Balor, but Corbin stole it from Balor before. So is it really too wrong to make a right type of thing? Not necessarily, but yes. Well, we'll see what gives. Daniel, that was so damn good. You make two matches in one. That was perfect booking. I can really get into Finn versus Corbin. Finn versus Corbin is going to have to be carried by Baron Corbin. That's the problem. And I mean on the mic. Because, Balor is really limited when it comes to his promo skills, so it's going to have to be carried by Corbin. So we'll see what they do with that. But I like it. It was very good booking. Two birds with one stone. And you set up the biggest, in my opinion anyways, the biggest match of the year. Bigger than Edge versus Roman. Cena Roman's a whole other level. Because this could really go either way. Are they going to have Cena break Ric Flair's record? Or are they going to have Roman maintain the championship? So it's going to be very cool. Very interesting to see. Gills fan, Finn will probably be owed a Universal title match for years like he was on Raw. Right, let's not forget, Finn Balor was the first ever Universal Champion and had to forfeit it the next night because of injury. Daniel, Finn, I think, was just a pawn to get Cena back out. Yes. It's just going to be interesting to see how long Cena sticks around after SummerSlam, if he doesn't win the belt. Regarding the promos, Andrew writes, well, Heyman is one of the people helping writing, so who knows? And I would assume it's bullet points. Daniel, I think Vince will only allow a select few to do unscripted promos. Maybe gave the okay for Cena Roman, knowing how good they have chemistry-wise. Yeah, I think not everyone is ready for it, for sure, but those guys are honestly the probably the best that they have in the company when it comes to promos, or some of the best anyways. They're up there. Daniel, Roman's so good. Scotty, I love that promo from Roman. He gets better every SmackDown. And we've been saying it, man. We've been saying it since last August. Roman Reigns, every single week, continues to improve. Be it on the mic or in the ring or, when facing the camera, his facial expressions, whatever it is. Roman is gold. Roman is freaking gold for the WWE. Gills fan, a script was leaked recently. They even put in stuff like what the wrestlers' facial expressions should be. I missed that one. I was out of the loop. I'll be honest. I was out of the loop for the past month. If Finn comes out smiling next week, it will look ridiculous. And that's the issue. That's how they tend to book their baby faces. Hopefully not. Gills fan, so if Corbin signed the contract, would the unbiased GMs have been okay with this? Of course not. This was stupid. You get what you get, and you try not to complain about it too much, especially when it comes to WWE creative. That's my point of view when it comes to the company. Andrew, I wonder if Flair really wants John Cena to break his record. I don't know. Maybe he does, and maybe he doesn't care, and maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to be the guy who has that record. Who knows? Very good question, Daniel. Daniel asks, but if he loses the WWE title, so Roman Reigns, if he loses, what does that do to Roman's character? So if it's a one-on-one match and Roman loses, this is going to be massive. A part of me thinks Roman wins and Roman hangs on to the belt until the potential Roman Reigns versus The Rock match at WrestleMania. And even then, I think Roman wins. I think we're in for another probably year of Roman Reigns' dominance on SmackDown. The only way, or the only question is, how are they going to get new competition for him? Unless they send him over to Raw. But I think he fits very well over on SmackDown. I think that's what we get. I think we get Roman winning and keeping it for a while. If he doesn't, if Cena wins, this could very much hurt Roman's character. And I'm being honest. I know he's been dominant for the past year, but this could be a dent because we've hit that part with Roman's character where he's dominant. But how could I put this? You have champions that are, they're dominant, but you're kind of like, okay, I'm expecting them to lose, and that's fine. But Roman's at a part where he's so freaking dominant that for him to lose, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be detrimental, but it's like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck? What are they gonna do with this guy if he loses? Because if Roman loses, unless they do a Brock Lesnar where he just completely annihilates John Cena in a rematch, like they did with Lesnar Cena at SummerSlam, they're gonna have to keep Roman either away from SmackDown and throw him to Raw, or they're gonna have to get the belt back on him as soon as possible. Like I cannot see Roman losing this belt anytime soon. And if I was booking, I would keep the belt on Roman for a very, very long time. They have something now. They've established something with Roman where the fans actually like him. Those that don't like him don't hate him. They want him to lose, right? Like it's that heel. It's the heel dislike. And they've created something with Roman where this is their guy. This is their dominant guy. This is the guy, the character that they wanted with Roman since he came out, since he debuted with the Shield, right? It's not John Moxley or Dean Ambrose. It did not end up being Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns is the guy, and they freaking attached a freaking rocket to his back right now, and they're pushing it, and they're doing it in a very good way. Thing is, they got to keep pushing. Now is not the time to stop with them. They got to keep pushing. So I would like to see Roman hang on to the belt at least until after WrestleMania. At least, because there's no one in the company that could take it off him. Cena, logically, yes, but aside from Cena, there's no one else. Aside from Cena, there's legit no one else. I would rather have Roman beat Cena, because that would just show how dominant he is. If you have Roman beat John Cena at SummerSlam, squash match or not, which I don't think it's going to be a squash. But if you have Roman beat Cena, this is like, this would be huge. This would be huge for them. And that's what he needs. That is what he needs. Let's take a look going through the chat. Andrew, remind me of the last time those two were paired and was at that contract signing at Raw years ago. That's how good those promos were. Yeah, and we spoke about that. We spoke about that, Andrew, during SmackDown. Those were some good promos. They have good chemistry together. Cena and Roman have very, very good chemistry together. Daniel, exactly. Roman's character is built around that title belt. Roman without that belt is just another top guy. Roman Reigns is not just another top guy. Roman Reigns is the top guy. He's not just another one. He's the top guy, and he needs that belt. And this is, it's two heavyweights going at it. Roman needs to win this. Gil's fan, I don't see Roman dropping the belt until WrestleMania 38 at least. Daniel, do they have Roman break CM Punk's title reign day, which was 434, but Brock Lesnar already beat that. Daniel, and Roman beating Cena clean. Yes, it has to be a clean win. It has to be a clean win. And credit to WWE, because for the most part, Roman's big wins, for the most part, have been clean. For the most part. So this has to be a clean win. This absolutely has to be. Andrew, almost as huge as beating The Rock. Yes. And Daniel, you can't have Roman win shitty if they have Roman beat Cena clean as a whistle. If this has got to be a clean win. You have these guys at SummerSlam, it's got to be huge. It's got to be huge. Gil's fine. If he loses the title, then I guess the Usos become the head of the table. And that could be a fun storyline for a couple of weeks. But if we're thinking long-term, it would hurt. It would hurt a lot. Unless, which I don't really see them doing, and it would be difficult for them to book just because the roster is thin. But unless Cena wins, and then you just have Roman annihilate everyone on the roster to get back to Cena. Like if they do something like that. But even at that, the roster's too thin, wouldn't necessarily make too much sense. I would rather have Roman Reigns defeat John Cena clean at WrestleMania. Daniel, yeah, fantasy booking. Book for the long term. Exactly. I know I skipped over the 6-man tag. So we did have a 6-man tag at one point, which was Big E, Cesaro, Nakamura versus Ziggler, Apollo Crews, and Robert Roode, which we're going to get to in a second. And Andrew writes, I still think The Rock is the true head of the table. And this makes the most sense. If you have Roman Reigns defeat John Cena and just talks his shit and becomes the guy and about how he is the guy, then you have The Rock come out and say, whoa, wait a minute. This whole Samoan dynasty thing, or whatever it is, I was here before you. I'm going to be here after you. I'm the guy. I'm the head of the table, not you. So we'll see. But I think logically it makes the most sense to have Roman Reigns win. Logically speaking. And that was our contract signing. If you missed it, go out of your way. That Roman Reigns promo was solid. And absolutely, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Those promos, oof. Oof. I mean, already the Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and John Cena promos are fucking ace. They're solid as hell. Imagine what they could do with The Rock and Roman Reigns. That would be something. That would be something. And you know what? I think we get it. I think we get it at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's gonna be this one or if it's gonna be the one in Hollywood, but hopefully we get it. And I think we get it. I think we get it. Let's take a look at this. Andrew, and pulling in family members too. We're gonna have the Usos, maybe Rikishi as well, and other people. It could be a very good feud. I'm not saying I want The Rock to win the Royal Rumble and then feud with Roman for 3 months, but you do something and you have yourself probably the feud of, or not the feud. You get yourself the most anticipated match probably of the decade, if I'm being honest. I think if booked properly, Roman Reigns versus The Rock could be the most anticipated match of the decade. No matter how obvious it might be that Roman would win, this would be as big as Roman Reigns versus this would be as big as John Cena versus The Rock the first time around in, what was it, 2012 or 2011? I think it was 2012. Or no, 13 even. 13. Was it? 12. See, I'm losing. It's almost been a decade already. But in my opinion, it would be as big as that. It would be as big as that. Daniel, getting that tingly feeling of Rock versus Roman for the belt. Maybe it's my coffee kicking in. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Gil's fan, Pat McAfee's the greatest. Pat McAfee is the GOAT. Okay, no, but he's so good. So good. He had those subtle comments. So during the contract signing, Finn Balor said, well, I'm going to win the Universal Championship and take it back to NXT. And then it was quiet. And then you very quietly hear Pat McAfee say, NXT Tuesday nights at 8. And it was so clever, so clever by Pat. I love the guy. I've been a fan of his since they put him on commentary. He's done well. Andrew, yes, love Pat McAfee and always inject some Rick Boogs in my veins. Yes. Daniel, Roman Rock would be our version of Rock and Hollywood Hogan. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Scotty, as far as Pat McAfee, where have they been hiding him? See, the thing with Pat McAfee is he impressed on NXT. When he wrestled on NXT, when he was cutting promos on NXT, he was their best promo guy in that company. He was so good. And like, okay, let's see how this one goes. Knocked it out of the park from the first show. He's done very well. He's done very, very well. And yeah, it's true. I caught that as well. Pat even said, can you trust Sasha Banks during the main event? He even said that. Yeah, he did. Quentin's in love with Pat McAfee too. Gil's fan, he even admitted that the Rolling Loud crowd did not know what was happening. He's not your usual corporate stooge commentator. He adds a different dimension to it. He definitely adds a different dimension to the commentary team. I think he and Michael Cole complement each other very well. Obviously, Cole is the veteran. I know obviously Cole gets a lot of shit from a lot of people, but you can't deny the guy's experience, and he knows how to steer the ship. And he's the one steering that commentary, but Pat McAfee's adding. He's more than holding up his own end of the bargain. He's really holding his own. Pat was funny on Twitter. Him laughing when Heyman sung Cena's theme was hilarious. It's those small things. It's really those small things. And he's done well. He's done very, very well. So yeah. And as I mentioned, we did have another match, which was the 6-man tag. So Big E, Cesaro, and King Nakamura defeated the Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, and Robert Roode. Nakamura ended up getting the pin. Look, it was a good match. It was fine. It was for what it was. It just feels like these 6 guys are stuck in a limbo. I know I tweeted that after the match, but it just feels like they don't know what they're doing with these guys. Is Big E getting that push? Yes, he won Money in the Bank, and that's great. Is he going to get that push? Is Apollo Crews even still champion? Nakamura's king. What's going on with Cesaro? What's going on with Roode? What's going on with Ziggler? It's it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd, for my opinion, anyways. It feels like they don't know what they're doing with a couple of those guys. And while we're talking about Pat McAfee and Robert Roode, Gills fan, Robert Roode threatens him, but he still has to rock out to Nakamura. Nobody can stop his greatness. Yeah, so Pat McAfee said it on commentary. He said, Robert Roode threatened to beat me up if I danced to Nakamura and Rick Boogs. So it's those small things. It's those small things that just, he does good, man. He does well. He does well. And yeah, that was SmackDown. That was the show. Honestly, it was fun for aside from the whole Sasha Banks part. It was a good show. It was a good 2 hours. John Cena's promo, Roman Reigns' promo. Go out of your way to watch those. Contract signing wasn't bad. And let's see what they do. Andrew mentions, don't forget Big E has a briefcase as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. If they, or when they do the cash in, do they do it on Roman? Do they maybe do it on Raw? Who knows? Who knows what they do with Big E and the briefcase? But what did you guys think of the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you guys think? I'm giving the show a thumbs up, or I gave the show a thumbs up. I thought it was good. Like I said, it was just the Sasha Banks stuff. But I guess from a fan's perspective, you get a return like Sasha Banks, or from a neutral perspective, anyways, you would be rather maybe excited, or hey, Sasha Banks is back. If you're, of a younger age, if you're a kid and you like Sasha Banks, then that probably made your night, and that's good. That's good for you. And I mean that honestly, not sarcastically speaking. Good for you. For me, that was the down part. That was the low part of it. Along with the 24/7 match, I thought that was a bit odd. But yeah. So Daniel, other than Sasha, cool to have a heel turn again. Roman Cena, thumbs up. Still can't believe this is the same company that shits out Raw but gives us gold in SmackDown. It makes no sense whatsoever. But fuck it, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Daniel, thumbs up. Excellent. Good to hear, buddy. Scotty, I give the show the Ole, Siskel, and Ebert 2 thumbs up. Oh, the Ole. Sorry, I read that Ole. My soccer football brain just switched to Ole in Spanish. Mashun, thumbs up. Yes. Gills fan, thumbs down for Sasha's return. Bianca looking dumb. Cena being a heel, and the return of the Thunderdome. Oof, with those chants. Quentin, this has been a good SmackDown. A 69 thumbs up. Andrew, thought the show was good. Thumbs up. And this show, thumbs up. Honestly, even though I don't like her, she did get me to pop. Even though I said, son of a bitch, she's back. That's the thing. When you have a wrestler that's, and I use that term loosely, wrestler with Sasha Banks, but when you have someone that's been away for a couple of months, they'll still get you to pop, and then you're like, oh shit, they're back. Probably with the Fiend. Eventually, when the Fiend comes back, everyone might be like, oh shit, the Fiend's back. You might pop for a minute, and you're like, oh, yeah, his storylines haven't been very good. But thank you everybody for joining me. We should have a show next week in all likelihood. I see no reason not to. Like I said, the past couple of weeks just kind of been a bit all over the place for myself. But it was good to be back. Good to cover SmackDown. Good talking to you guys. Absolutely miss talking to you guys. Love doing the post show. Thank you everybody for joining. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Like I said, keep an eye out on Wrestleview in the next 24 to 48 hours. Some stuff coming up, some big surprises. Andrew says Mike is going to jump off the cliff with the Fiend. Daniel, good to see the Chief again. Good to see everybody that's part of the tribe again. So thank you everybody for that. Honestly, really, really mean this. Thank you everybody for joining. Always fun talking to you guys. Quentin, post SmackDown 100 thumbs up. This is the greatest podcast ever produced. Thank you, Quentin. Thank you, buddy. It means a lot. Great being back. Yes, definitely great to be back. We're here on Mondays. If I'm not mistaken, in all likelihood, there will be a live Raw post show on Monday. Mike, don't kill me if it's not the truth. I believe there will be one. Mike Tedesco, Victoria Tedesco will be covering Raw on the post show. So keep an eye out for that. If I'm not mistaken, they will be here on Monday on YouTube. So watch them. Trust me, you will not regret it by any means. You won't regret it at all. They're here on Mondays. Check them out. I'm here on Fridays. You guys are here on Fridays. We're in this. We're in this together. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Take care. And until next week, be safe, everybody. Bye.